Hey goalies, welcome to episode 2 of my new question and answer series. I got a good one for you guys today. We got some good questions in. We're going to talk a little bit about staying mentally engaged, a little bit about the RVH and the VH and when to use them. And then we got some funny, good personal questions on here as well. So I'm excited to get going. As always, guys, send your questions in, put them in the comments below, shoot me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, and email. All that information will be down in the description. So let's get right into it. I got my very healthy lemon water here. One sip, everybody knows the rules. This comes from Jen, and Jen asked, how do you decide between the VH and RVH, i.e. when to use them? This one has a lot of weight to it. There are plenty of short side goals in the NHL that we see going in nowadays from a goaltender using the RVH. And generally when that bad goal goes in, it is because the goalie is down in the RVH sooner than they have to be, or they're not using it quite at the right time and in the right situation. Younger players and players that aren't quite at that level of college hockey or into the NHL should really focus on staying on their feet a little bit longer rather than dropping right down into the RVH. You never want to make the first move. You don't want to already be committed by the time they lift their head up to shoot that puck. I definitely teach goalies to use the RVH as a reactionary save rather than something that they're already committed and down in. Use it more as the shooter is breaking towards the net and you have to squeeze against that post. Another time to use it is when the puck is off in the corner behind the net and you're trying to block that pass. When the shooter is against the far boards and they're in that hash mark range or even a little bit lower than that hash mark, if a goalie goes down from that point, a shooter, especially a guy or a girl that's on their off wing, they're going to be able to hit that far side corner on you extremely easily. So it's very, very important that a goalie remain on their feet until the shooter's shot is no longer a threat. In many situations, it's better for the goalie to keep his or her feet, maybe get a little overlap on the post and keep their chest square to that puck. Now the VH is a lot different. We don't see too many goalies using that anymore. A lot of that has to do with the bad rebounds and the inability to control your rebounds when you do use the VH. Again, there is a time and place to use it when the shooter is on their normal wing, so you have a righty shooter coming down the right side. Using the VH in this situation helps seal that short side. This is definitely a reactionary type of move. You don't really want to be committed to that VH, just like you don't want to be committed to the RVH. And can you guys see the similar pattern here? When we speak goaltending, we just don't want to be committed before the shooter. So John from Instagram, John asked, if I could max out any NHL 20 goalie stat on myself, which one would it be? As my serious goalie coaching answer, I would say I'd have to max out the vision attribute or even the recovery attribute. My not so serious answer would be I would max out the breakaway stat. Breakaways are not my strong suit, so if I could max out any stat on myself, it would be being better at breakaway saves. So John also asked, am I a cat person or a dog person? And if you've watched my previous videos, then you may have seen assistant coach Izzy making an appearance in some of them. So this is assistant mental goalie school coach Izzy, or Isadora, and she's not too happy right now being woken up from her nap. I am a little bit more of a cat person, and I think that makes sense as a goalie. You gotta have fast reflexes and be quick and ready to go. So there's your answer. Thanks, John. So this next question comes through Facebook and it comes from Alex. If you could be trained by any goalie in the world, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Awesome question. I did have to think about it a little bit, but I would have to go with the great Jacques Plante. Now, Plante was famous for a lot of things. You guys might know that he was the first goalie to make wearing a mask in the NHL a commonplace. He was also the first goalie to really be a third defenseman back there and come out and play the puck and act as a third defenseman and make outlet passes. He was also the first goalie to raise his hand and let his teammates know that there was an icing. Now, the reason I would pick Plante is because he really brought a lot of new things and new ideas to the world of goaltending. He was really one of the first guys to break the game down and study it. He was actually the first guy to write a how-to book on the position of goaltending called On Goaltending. And after he finished playing, he actually became a goalie coach, a very well-known goalie coach on top of his prestigious career. He was really the first guy to really study the position, get into the position, break it down. I really try to model that type of coaching after him, and he would definitely be the guy I would like to have train me if I could choose. Alex also asked, when play is at the other end, how do you stay mentally engaged, especially when the game is so lopsided? I think this is going to vary from player to player. A lot of goalies will have different ways on how to cope when they're in the middle of a boring game. Definitely keep your eyes on the puck. It really helps you stay engaged and helps you stay focused when you're tracking it back and forth just from your crease. I see a lot of goalies have a tendency to look away, and they might be looking at the rink or down the ice but not staying engaged and staring at that puck. I would also suggest focusing on your breathing. Focus on your breaths in and your breaths out. Count them in your head if that makes a difference, or just think to yourself, breathe in, breathe out. While this might sound kind of rudimentary, it helps keep you in the moment because you're focusing on those breaths that you're taking right at that moment. Another way is between whistles. Some goalies like to skate to the corner to keep their legs warm. It's okay to drop down and do a stretch, whatever helps you stay in the moment. So the last question of the day comes from Instagram, and it comes from Zach. What kind of cardio training should I do as a goalie? Hockey players and goalies especially need quick spurts of energy, not long distance cardio such as a long distance runner or a cyclist. For goalies, the best way to train cardio is doing interval training. An easy way to start interval training, if you're using a treadmill, is to do like a 45-second on full out sprint and then back it off for 30 to 45 seconds into like a jog. This can be a little difficult on treadmills using the controls to lower it or raise your speed. The best way, of course, is to do some actual sprinting. If you have a field somewhere or you have a track, you can do this in distances or in time, whichever is easier. You can run hard for 30 seconds and then do an active rest, such as core work, planking. You can do some hand-eye exercises in this quick recovery, and then you're right back at it again. So another 30 or 45 seconds, hard running, hard sprinting, and then back down to 30 to 45 seconds of that kind of cool down. For the distance style interval training, go hard for 30 yards and then jog your way back to the beginning. 30 yards hard, jog your way back to the beginning. It has that active recovery in it, and then it has the hard sprinting right away. And this interval training can also translate over to the gym, where you can do active recovery in between your main sets. Anything to kind of keep yourself active within that cool down, keep your heart rate up, and work on that cardio interval training. So that is it for today's question and answer session, guys. Great questions today. We went over a lot. Ask your questions, leave them in the comments, shoot me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, and keep our minds fresh while we're off the ice. Don't forget your mental preparation posters, guys. This one was the most popular. This one went kind of fast. I only have a couple of these ones left. Those are all on my website, mentalgoalieschool.com. A great way to get some hockey-related decor in your bedrooms. Keep doing the right things off the ice. Keep getting better. Every day is a chance to get a little bit better. We'll be back on the ice before you know it. We'll be ready for tryouts and ready for the big season coming up. So keep your stick on the ice, and I will see you guys soon.